had an experience that I wanted to share with you all. I haven't meditated for a very long time, and I couldn't understand what was holding me back from managing to do it. And recently I had a training weekend for mediumship, and I had a message from my mother, and then my ego got very upset about the message, but it was in response directly to my prayer to her. And I sat with it, and then I had a conversation, and it triggered an emotional meltdown and a realization that I'd been carrying around a hurt with me for a very long time. And by carrying it the way I had been, not only had I been hurting myself, I'd been hurting those I loved and people I've met. And then it was time to let it go. And that freed me. So I then got the urge to meditate, funnily enough. So I sat with it and I thought, well, what meditation would be best for me to start with? And I came across this solfeggio frequency meditation on YouTube. I'll link it down below for anyone who wants to try it themselves. And when my crown chakra was being tuned, I saw the Sphinx, I saw ancient mathematics, I saw ancient writing, not of, well, I don't know if it was this world, I don't know where it was from. Wasn't anything I know today, anyway. I saw the ancient gods of Egypt. I saw beings from other worlds. And I recognized some of them, and only because the day before, this is how synchronicities work. And I'm always talking about them in my readings, and I'm always telling people about how our soul designs our life to allow for these transformative processes to take effect. And my soul's been talking, and I've begun to see the signs, symbols, messages, and how everything is cohesive in a life when you're looking for it. And a lot of people are not looking in the right places, and that is just because they haven't trained their eyes to look for them. Everyone has them, their own personal guidebook through life, in the life. Little signposts that allow you to follow them to the next thing that you need to know. And I had been watching an episode of Astral Legends, and it was talking about, because I'm Lyran, and it was talking about Lyran Syrians and the Order of the Emerald Tablet, the Anasazi. I'm Anasazi. So obviously me, being me, was really interested in finding out about that time period for me. Well, it described the different types of hominoid beings on Sirius from Lyra, because some Lyrans did actually migrate to Sirius. And I was just like listening to these descriptions. I was watching a movie of these different races of beings. I hadn't, like, if I hadn't had the descriptions, I would not have known what I was looking at, because they were humanoid. They weren't human, but they were from the time of, like, Egypt, when it was Egyptian, but apparently Egyptians followed beings from other races, I would imagine. or had connections through off world, because this was like, I was just seeing a little movie. And then I had my body literally bouncing off of the bed, which was another weird thing that happened. I could, like, my whole, it was almost like every cell in my body was vibrating in response to the resonances that were being fed through my body. We are light beings having a human experience. We are light and sound, and that is our frequency, right? We are vibrating. Like, we know this, don't we? Yeah, we know that we are atoms vibrating at certain frequencies, that light holds all the different colors within it. And so when you see light and it's white, that's all the colors together. Well, I was going through the frequencies of me as a light being. And so my body was literally doing the hocus pocus. Well, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. But yeah, anyway, it was mental. And then when I got to my crown chakra at a higher frequency, I was halfway through the attunement, and that was my favorite one. I really loved the crown. Oh, it was nice. I heard a voice come through the headphones. Or it was in my, I don't know. It just sounded like it was coming from the music, but it wasn't. It was in my head. It just went, Amy, can you hear me? And I was just, yes, I can hear you. I just shouted out in the middle of like meditation. And the person said down the mic, like through the music, good. And that was the end of that experience. I did my adjustments and like I'd done a full attunement. I'd been up there at this point. I've been suffering from bouts of insomnia. I'm not the only one. It has to do with the solar storms and the ascension, and adjusting. I mean, we get barraged by certain light codes, and we need to adjust, and then you get this burst of energy, and then you go back to normal again. Well, that's how it's working for me anyway. But it's unusual, especially from the years of chronic health problems I've been having. It's gone. It was like weird. I was like getting lots of things done, and I was enjoying my day, and life was just flowing, and I was like, wow, this is great. But I went to bed because obviously after 32 hours of being awake, I was ready for bed, and I went to sleep. And I slept the deepest sleep I've had in a very long time. The voice that I heard in my meditation was talking to me in my dreams all night long. And I was given lessons. These were lessons about us and the nature of what we are and what God is. Prime Creator is. Now, Prime Creator is all of us, not separate to us. There is no separation from God at all. We are God. We are, see, the energy that is Prime Creator energy is love, just pure love. And it loves experiencing love in all its forms. And so it keeps creating forms in order to experience the love within that form. I remember one scene, I was shown a girl who was highly disabled and she was in a wheelchair. But she, in her own way, experienced being loved for who she was in that condition. But she also came as a teacher to teach the depth and breadth of love to the other parts of Creator, so that new understandings about the nuances that love is could be formed and taken to the whole, to the one, unified consciousness of all, to be processed, and then new experiences brought forth to understand and to embody love. So I'm God, you're God. We are aspects of the divine, quite literally aspects of God, that are here to understand love. We have had many lives. Now this one, I was shown one of my lives, and I went to, I thought it was New Zealand, but there was a dust storm. I don't know if New Zealand has dust storms, to be quite honest, but and I don't know if that was just a bleed over of something in my dream. However, I was the daughter of a prospector whose drilling operation had run out of money. So we were living on the poverty line, but we had each other. And I was shown how in that life I desired to understand the bonds of love and connection through hardship, and how the relationships that we have between us as human beings is strengthened by the need for each other, and how that love can be the power that can get you through any situation, and you don't need anything other than that grounding of love within you to be the strength needed in that family to get everybody through to the next phase of their ascension, their understanding. And it is about working together. I was then shown an image. Wow, actually it was lovely. It was of puppies. Oh, puppies. Now who doesn't love puppies? I'm sure anyone watching this will go, oh yeah, I love a puppy. Yeah. And I opened this door and there were all these Labrador puppies. Some had names, some didn't. There was this beautiful chocolate Labrador. It's so cute, little puppy. And in this dream, I was in it with my mum. And she says, oh, I think I might get another puppy. I said, well, get one then. And she said, but I don't want to experience the loss. Every time I love something, it hurts. And someone actually said this to me only the day before. But this dream, my mum said it. And I turned round to her and I said, but it's the loving of a dog or of a being that makes everything else so worthwhile. And it is why we come here. The loving is what makes every other thing in our lives so worthwhile, including the loss. Which brings me on to the next thing. If all there is Prime Creator, and that's the truth, then nothing is ever lost. For everything is happening now within the mind of God and being held there in loving eternity within the mind of God, within the energy field that is creation. Which leads me on to the next point. And this was taught to me by this being last night. Because there is only God, that means I and you are linked, intrinsically linked. There is no separation between us. I are you, and you are me. We are all one being. And I think it's difficult because in order for us to experience the being that is, that's you, that's me, in this third dimensional space, we had to devise a means of separating ourselves from each other to experience the new ways of being. And the only way we could do that is to create a third dimensional, dualistic realm. So that we could come back again and again and again, serving the one, and by in turn, because we are all still individuals within the one, in turn have that experience of separating ourselves from it. So we have these vessels and duality. Duality is black, white, rich, poor, good, evil, in the realm where we come from, where we truly are now, even. We had to have illusions, illusory states, in order to say, I'm not part of the one. And we had to forget it. We had to get some beings from heaven to wipe our memories, whack us in our vessels, plot a life course to do the things that we wanted to do and to experience, and also for the experiences that God wanted us to experience, so that God could grow and continue to become more love oriented in the multifaceted ways that it is. So we have a plotted path, which brings me back to synchronicity, the plotting of our path. And spirit guides. My guide last night, my guide last night had my voice, but it wasn't me. In as much as I wasn't talking to myself like I do when I sit here by myself musing over my thoughts. It was an entity that was, I suppose, wanting to introduce itself in a way that wouldn't scare me. But was very much a superior intellect than my own, guiding me through these lessons, which I'm sharing with you now, before I forget them. Although it was so vivid, I don't know how I could. I really don't. It was almost like I was petting puppies. So, I was given a glimpse behind the Iron Curtain, if you will, to to God the reality of what we are as one being, when we go back to heaven, to the one entity in the light, we still retain our individuality, but we are a collective. Here, in order to separate ourselves from the collective, we had to agree to forget that we are one. But I think that the time has come now for us to remember again who we are. I was given a crash course in the truth of who we are last night. But it was the most beautiful series of loving situations, from the poorest family to disabled people to rich people. But it was the acts of love and the kindness that were the thing that were shown to me to be the thing that binds us all. For we are beings of just pure love. And with that, I think I'm going to leave my love for you there. And I hope you found this interesting. I certainly did last night. And I can't wait to see if I have any more instructions given to me from within. Take care, my darlings. Bye.